So you see here, this is how the spouse name has been written here, and combination of upper and lower case. In this field, since it is in capital, it is rejecting. So we will correct this and make it consistent. This is case sensitive too. So once this has been fixed, we come down and then validate. And now the validation is complete. This is one of the most important document, IMM 1344, when you're sponsoring your parents and grandparents. Always get this form from the right location. In this case, it is the family sponsorship, parents, grandparents program link. This link will be there in my description. So make sure to go to this link and come down. You see here, once you come down, this is where this application link is. This is a 7-page document. I will show you how to fill every single page and do it correctly. When you're inviting your parent, you become the signer here. In this case, this is you, and if your spouse is a co-signer, and if that applies, you have declared that your spouse is co-signer, then that person must sign and the person you are sponsoring, and all three have to do this digitally, that is digital sign. To make it easy for you, always download this form by doing a right click and save link as, and then save. So once you save, you will get this form like this. If you're trying to directly open, in that case, you will get this error. So make your life simple by first downloading the form. To open the document, you would need Adobe Acrobat Reader. This is the link. The link will be again there in the description. Download and install, and with the free version, you'll be able to do your work without any issues. So you can download this, and once that is installed, you open by right click, open with Acrobat Reader. So the form is now open. I have already pre-filled this application to save some time. However, I'll be covering everything in detail, and wherever necessary, I will go in depth. And in case you still have any question, you can always use the comment section, and that way others who are coming in will also know if they have similar situation. Also, if you come across anything as an update, please do comment, and that way it is going to help anyone who is coming to watch the video. So with that, the part 1 of the application start with. Once the entire application is complete, you will have to validate. These validate buttons are at multiple places. Once you click the validate, it will show if the PDF has been successfully validated, and then you will receive a barcode, which I will show you little later as we proceed with the video once everything is complete. And in case you want to start fresh with the application, you can use this clear form. So this will give you an empty form. Now let's come to the part 1 of the application, that is serial number 1. So here the question is, if you are found ineligible to sponsor, indicate whether you want to withdraw your sponsorship application. All processing fee less $75 will be refunded. So after $75 deduction, whatever processing fee you have paid, that will be returned to you. Or you want to proceed with the application for permanent resident, processing fee will be retained. So in my case, I have chosen this withdraw because I feel time value for money. A bird in hand is better than two in bush. So I have chosen this. In case you want IRCC to retain this money, then you have to select this as an option. In my case, I have chosen this. I will get the refund after deduction of this $75. Now, if you have question like who are these people who are still proceeding with this application despite getting rejection? See, under spousal sponsorship, if there is a chance of ineligibility, the spouse will again go and apply after getting all the documents corrected. So in that case, sometimes the spouse chooses to leave it as it is and then just goes ahead with the application process once everything is made suitable. But in case of parents, right, because this is like a express entry draw where you get an invitation to apply, and then if it is rejected, then you don't know when the next draw is going to happen. So with that logic, I have gone with the withdrawal here. So I hope this gives you some clarity. Language preference, you have two options, English, French. So English I have chosen. Is there a co-signer on this application? Co-signer is not a mandatory one. in case you have a cosigner, then you choose yes. If not, you choose no. If it is only one sponsor, then you choose no. So in my case, I have kept yes. And that person you are sponsoring, that is the principal applicant. So the principal applicant's name will come here. Look at their passport, how the application was filled. Name has to match exactly with the passport because the passport is one of the document which will be going in. So the date of birth in the same format, year, month and date. You can't go wrong here. Then the principal applicant is here. Oh, I made a mistake here. So here in this case, it is parent. Please, principal applicant is a parent. And you see this box, this will not be editable because parent has been chosen here. So if it is grandparent in your case, you will have to select grandparent from the dropdown. We come to the sponsor's personal detail. Here the sponsor is Gopi Krishna, who has invited or sponsored his parent. So Gopi Krishna's name as it is given in the passport that gets mentioned. And have you ever used any other name? If it is yes, then you select this box and enter the previous name. If not, just tick no. Then gender from the drop down, select the gender. Here I have shown male and date of birth. Again, as I said, you can't go wrong with this. Make sure it matches with your passport document and enter in this format. Otherwise, this is going to give you an error and it will ask you to correct. Then comes place of birth, city, town and country where you are born, and then status in Canada. Here from the drop down, I am a naturalized Canadian citizen, so I have selected that. And if you are a permanent resident, you select this. If you are Canadian citizen by birth, by descent, you select from the drop down. So if you are a permanent resident or naturalized Canadian citizen, please provide the following information: date on which you obtained the status, whichever is more recent. So if you are a permanent resident, you will enter the date when that was with your UCI ID. So look at your document and make sure you make the correct entry here and the date of permanent residence. If it is citizenship, then similarly date and when the citizenship was granted that ID. If you have question on where to find the client ID or UCI, this is either a 8-digit or 10-digit number which appears on all document you get from IRCC. So look for this indication, and if you have sent application before, look at the letter which was sent to you or the immigration document such as PR card, study or work permit. And if you don't have any of these documents but want to fill out the application form, you can leave this field blank. Read through this. Full name at the time you became permanent resident. If it was different, you choose no, and then this editable form will open. If you select yes, this is how it will show up. So in this case, I have chosen yes. And then let me come down. Here, provide the name of your current spouse, common law partner, the name, that is family name, and given name straight out of the document like passport, again making no mistake. And then have you previously been married or in common law relationship? The response here in my case is no. If it is yes, then you have to enter this detail, and this is only applicable if you are married. If you select single, all this will not be editable. Now let's come to page 2, and here sponsors contact information. If you have a PO box number, you enter that, the apartment and unit detail, street number, street address, city, country, province, postal code, and if it is district, you can enter that. If you select any other country, whatever you see non-editable, you can just leave as it is. And most of the communication I have personally received over email. There has not been any instance when IRCC has sent an postal communication, but it is always good to have this correctly entered just in case you have to receive any document. Then the residential address is same as the mailing address. So I have yes. If it is not the same, then you select no and enter the address in a similar fashion. Then comes the telephone number. Here I have selected Canada and US. I am in Canada, so type of cellular service is selected here from this drop down. You can select whatever it is. Then country code by default shows when I choose Canada or US. If it is any other country, you will have to select this and then enter the country code manually. Then enter the contact details, and once it is verified that it's all correct, I have no alternate number, so I am leaving it blank, and so is fax. We select this cellular detail, so fax has been left blank, and then the mail address. All these details are filled. We will go to sponsors residency declaration. Let's come down. So in this declaration, are you a Canadian citizen living exclusively outside Canada? See who can sponsor. So here my response is no. I am in Canada, so I'm selecting no. And you have to look at your option from these two, what is given. Then sponsor eligibility assessment. Here there are a list of questions. Are you 18 years of age or older? My response is yes. Are you a citizen or permanent resident? Response is yes. Are you sponsoring a member of family class or a member of spouse or common law partner in Canada class? The response here is yes. Grandparents and parents in family class. Then do you reside in Canada and in no other country? My response here is yes. If it is no, you have to select that, and depending on your answer, you may be eligible or not eligible. So go through this. In the 5 year preceding this application, did you become a permanent resident after being sponsored as a spouse, common law or conjugal partner? In our case, it is no. If you have sponsored spouse, common law partner or conjugal partner, you see your response, and depending on that, you may find this part for you. Okay, this part. Then have you submitted a previous application in respect of which final decision has not been made for the person being sponsored and their family member, in this case parent or grandparent? My response is no. And then are you in receipt of social assistance for reason other than disability? You have to choose your response. Here I have shown no. Are you in undischarged bankrupt under the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act? Response is no. Have persons you previously sponsored or their family member received social assistance during the validity period of undertaking? Here my response is no. So let me come to page 3. So here, did you co-sign an undertaking where the sponsored person or his or her family member received social assistance during the validity period of undertaking? So if you have done that, your response you'll have to choose as yes. In my case, it is no. So I've kept it as it is. Have you been ordered to leave Canada? So you see here, all these check boxes are no. If any of the check boxes, go through each one of them. If there are any yes, then you have to provide detail including date and place of these incidents. Then are you in default of court order to make support payment to your spouse, former spouse, common law partner, former common law partner or child? My response is no. If it is yes, then as I said, if any of the answer is yes here, then you will have to respond. Same as with these questions. So all the responses here is no in my case, and that's why this is blank. If any of the response is yes, then this will open and you have to fill in the detail. I'll keep it as no. We'll come to the co-signer personal detail. Here, as I said, it is not in all cases you will have co-signer. If you don't have a co-signer who is here to help to meet your income requirement, who is a spouse or a common law partner, then in that case, you don't have to fill this part of the form, the co-signer personal detail form, and you can skip this. I will be showing the co-signer personal detail form in case you have a co-signer with you. So in this case, for example, the spouse, the sponsor is the co-signer, then spouse name as in the passport. And have you ever used any other name? The response is no. If it is yes, then the name gets entered. Then gender, date of birth as it is given in the field, place of birth, country. This gets filled. And status in Canada, I showed earlier for the sponsor. Similarly, the status has to be chosen, whatever the status is. Here I have chosen naturalized Canadian citizen. If it is permanent resident or any other, you have to select that date when that was obtained, and then the UCI client ID that has to be entered. Then full name at the time you became permanent resident, same as your current full name. I have said yes. If it is no, then the detail has to be filled. If it is yes, then leave as it is and this becomes non-editable like you see here. Here's the relationship to the sponsor. Here she is spouse, so that gets selected, and these are non-editable, and it shows the current marital status from the form what was filled earlier. Then if you are married or in common law relationship, provide the date on which you were married or entered into common law relationship. Again, this is automatically getting filled from what the sponsor had entered, and then sponsor's name also automatically comes here, given name and family. We have done with this. We come to page 4, and here, have you been previously married or in common law relationship? Depending on your answer, here the response is no. If it is yes, then this form will open for you to fill the detail. So since it is no, these are left as it is. Co-signer contact information. Simple. Here the co-signer is in Canada, so I have chosen Canada. Type of service, cellular, country code, and the phone number in case IRCC wants to contact. Co-signer residency declaration. Are you a Canadian citizen living exclusively outside Canada? So the response here in my case is no. I am in Canada, so I'm selecting no. And if it is yes, then this option opens up. Here in my case, the response is no. Then let's come down to co-signers eligibility assessment. It is a similar format what we had seen above. So here to all the questions, the response I'm showing, are you 18 years of age or older? In my case, it is yes. Citizen or permanent resident? Yes. Do you reside in Canada and in no other country? The response is yes. If you answer yes to question 4 to 12, you're not eligible to be a co-signer. So see who can sponsor, guide for information. So all the responses here in my case is no. No social assistance, no undischarged bankruptcy, no previous sponsorship. Did you co-sign an undertaking? No. Have you ever been ordered to leave Canada? No. Are you late in making a required payment? No. Are you currently detained in prison? No. Have you been convicted of sexual offense? No. Are you in default of court order to make supportive payment to spouse? The response is no. Are you subject of an application to revoke your Canadian citizenship? No. Are you the subject of report of inadmissibility? My response is no. Have you been charged with an offense under Act of Parliament punishable by maximum term of imprisonment in last 10 years? The response is no. Now let's come to the next page, page 5. Here we go back. Any of these answers you see here, these answers were yes, then this would have opened. So in my case, all were no. So this is non-editable. And then we come down to the undertaking by sponsor and co-signer. If applicable, we will come down and then, here you go through all of this, what is written, and then you come to this part, which is the signature part. Here, be careful when you're filling in sponsor, signature of sponsor's spouse or common law partner if co-signer, and signature of sponsored person, that is the principal applicant. So here the principal applicant, as you can see, Ram Kumar, who is the father, Gopi Krishna is sponsoring the father, and Ritu Kumari is the spouse. So the names have been entered likewise. This is the signature. All you have to do is, I agree that by typing my name, I am electronically signing my application. So just you have to type your name and that becomes the signature and the date when you're doing this. You don't have to take a printout and then do a signature, which will definitely cause problems for you. All you have to do is enter the name like this, sponsor, sponsor's spouse or common law partner. If co-signer, if you don't have a co-signer, you leave this part blank, and then the signature of sponsored person, that is the principal applicant. So once these details have been filled, you check, recheck, cross-check, take time, and once you are satisfied that everything you entered best of your knowledge and to the correctness, you just go and validate. So once you're validating, in case there is any error, it will show up like this where the error is, and you can go and correct those details. So in this case, it shows co-signer's personal detail. The format you entered following field was incorrect. So let me go and check. So you see here, this is how the spouse name has been written here, and combination of upper and lower case. In this field, since it is in capital, it is rejecting. So we will correct this and make it consistent. This is case sensitive too. So once this has been fixed, we come down and then validate. And now the validation is complete. So remember, these are case sensitive. So whatever name you are entering, keep it consistent when you're typing the same name elsewhere. So once this is done and you click OK, now this form, you see, form is the filled form, and toward the bottom, you have this barcode, and with this barcode, it will be digitally transferring all the information once this is uploaded. So where this will get uploaded? So the upload will happen here in this section, and you can see once this is uploaded, this is how it's going to look.